Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. My name is Brando Linick, and this is going to be just a candid conversation on how to start a non-medical home care business, as well as I'm going to touch base on some important things you really have to know when it comes to building a lucrative business that works for you, not against you. Having over the last 3 years started a lot of different types of businesses, some things that worked, some things that didn't work. I can definitely tell you what to avoid, what to look out for from that experience, and over the last 13 months having been able to actually create a full-time income business working part-time. So you're going to want to know this stuff. You're going to want to pay close attention now when it comes to starting a non-medical home care business. Having gotten around close friends of mine who have done this, that I've built relationships with over the last 3 years, the process itself is something that you really need to take into account. Non-medical or even medical, the approach is analyzing it from a business plan perspective. That's the first thing you need to look at when it comes to actually starting one. Looking at the overhead cost that's going to be needed with it. Alright, taking into account with a home care business, you're dealing with a little bit older people, sometimes even younger people, depending on the age group that you're targeting. Alright, it could be mental health people, it could be elderly, sick, and health people. Alright, so it really depends on the approach that you're taking. However, you got to keep in mind from a business perspective, planning it out to actually start the business, you're looking at an overhead of a facility, of a place, of a home, alright? And you're also looking at employees, you're looking at staff, you're looking at sometimes using equipment and supplies, alright? You're looking at food, okay? You're looking at inventory for food, okay? And you're looking at different pills sometimes that people have to take. Even though you're looking at non-medical, you got to keep in mind there are going to be people with medical conditions that you're going to have to help them out with certain things. So you got to take this all into account, and that's really going to be your overhead with the business model. So you're looking at, like I said, a facility to operate under, whether this is a home or a building. Typically, obviously, for the example in this video, a non-medical home care business, it's going to be in a home. Okay, it's going to be in a home setting. And you're also going to be looking at employees, staff, equipment, supplies. So that's going to be your overhead to start the business. And having had very close friends of mine, like I said, start this type of business model, and having seen them put in, alright, of their own money and also borrowed money, over $50,000 up to and over $100,000 to actually start one, it's a good business. It does make money, alright. It's a very profitable business model. But I'd advise you, if you don't have the budget set aside, alright, if you don't have that budget to put in 50 grand, or, some of you may even know of people who've started it for less, but this is just the example in this video I'm going to share with you. You can do a little bit of market research. It's going to cost you over $10,000 to start a non-medical home care business, just an FYI out there. But if you don't have that budget set aside, and you're looking at this to start a business, although it's a good business, it's a very profitable business, and the foundation is really looking at it from an overhead perspective and looking at it, how many customers are you going to need to cover that overhead, but not just cover it, but be able to pay yourself, alright? I'd advise you, if you don't have the budget set aside for it, and you're looking at it just to be in business for yourself because you know you can make money at it, and it's a simple business to start, I'd advise you, before you take that approach, if you hear me out here for just 1 minute, my experience with this goes back over the last year, because that's really the foundation of actually starting a non-medical home care business. You really got to map it out from a financial perspective, planning it out, looking at your overhead, okay, and then looking at how many people are going to need to cover that overhead, and then not just cover that overhead, but turn a profit where you make an income as a business owner. But like I said, if you don't have the budget set aside, if you hear me out here for just a minute, alright, I'd advise you not to go get a loan, not to get into debt, alright, don't strap that ball and chain to your leg. If you want to be in business for yourself, if that's really what you're looking for, to be your own boss, to do what you want, when you want, whenever you want, alright, but have a business that works for you, not against you, the best tip and lead I'll throw your way is actually to look towards learning the skills to building an online business. And I won't sit here and preach that you should do the internet and that's the only thing you should do, but if you don't have over 10 grand to actually invest in starting a home care business, and you're okay with investing that much money, like that's okay money, I'd advise you to seriously consider looking at the internet, because when you know what you're doing with the right guidance and help, you can create a very lucrative business model that can profit you 10 times the amount of money that you'd make with a traditional business model because you're not taking on the overhead of a traditional business model, dealing with equipment, supplies, employees, a building, a facility, all right, and the payments you'd have to put on that facility without having any of that stuff. And like I said, my experience with this goes back over the last year when I transitioned from a traditional business to an online business, came across a person making multiple six figures on the internet, and I started to model and copy what they're doing, and in a period of a couple of weeks was able to, with their help and guidance, create a full-time income business working part-time on the internet, which is not average or typical results. I'll be the first to tell you what I've done. It did require work. I did have to learn some things, just like you'd have to learn in a non-medical home care business. You have to learn stuff. You have to put it in work. But the cool part was I didn't have to have the resources of tens of thousands of dollars to get it going. And I didn't have to go out there and pitch and promote to people. I actually learned how to attract people to me, which is the cool part. So if you get anything out of this video, if you don't have the budget set aside for that, which I pretty much covered how to actually start a non-medical business, and if you want to rewind and go through that again, you can. But if you don't have the budget set aside for that and you really just want to be your own boss, you want to create an income that's sustainable, that's leveraged, where you can actually do what you want, when you want, wherever you want, operate wherever you want, so you're not located and limited to just one location, all right, best thing that you could do is learn how to build an online business. And that's just my tip, that's my overview in this video. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did putting together for you. It's been an awesome talk. I could go on for hours about this, but I figured I'd cut it short. And I'll probably make an addition, a second part to this video. But in the meantime, make sure, if you really do want to learn the skills to building a lucrative business on the internet, if you actually want to be introduced to the same person that shared this information with me, who's made a high multiple six, almost seven-figure income on the internet just over the last couple months here, make sure to check out my site. I'll put a link down below. Like I said, it's 123marketingtips.com, and I'll connect with you from there, and I'll see you on the beach of the world. Take care.